Okay, so we've got a Silver Sigma player here. So you guys are running a double shield bunker, Sigma Orisa. That's good. Double shield is pretty strong, especially in the lower ranks. You've got a Junkrat and a Soldier, so you have lots of spam damage from the Junkrat. Again, Junkrat's in a little bit of a weird spot right now, but in the lower ranks, Hollywood, like this is fine. There's some narrow chokes he can spam down. Soldier is always good. He's never really terrible. He's pretty good now, so long as the Soldier can hit the shots. And then you're running a Mercy Moira, which is a good healer combo, so long as Moira focuses on keeping the tank lives alive, and Mercy focuses on enabling the DPS, so pretty much pocketing them and damage boosting them. So you as Sigma, looking at this team comp, the basic idea of running double shield is that you guys cycle your shields, right? So either you or Orisa have your shield up, and when that one goes down, the other one puts theirs up. And the hope is they kind of cycle through it, and you guys are able to conserve your shields in such a way that you always have a shield available. Generally speaking, you let Orisa's shield do most of the heavy lifting, and then you kind of keep yours as reserve. Um, Other than that, you are running a very poke-heavy comp, and by that I mean you guys benefit from ranged. So I like where you're set up. You're set up on the high ground. You have your team with you. That's good. The one thing that you have to note is it's completely okay for you guys to stay up here pretty much for the entire thing. When the enemy team does push in, and when the enemy team does try and fight cart or fight on point, you guys can stay up here and fire down, right? Um, The other thing you have to be wary of is that they can flank you up here. So honestly, as they start pushing in, it might be better to rotate to cafe over here. That way you just get longer sight lines. Like this is generally the better spot to set up when you're running a defensive bunker like that because it is so much harder for the enemy team to try and flank you, right? Any way that they flank you, you can see, right? They either have to go through all the way around this way, in which case you'll see them, or they have to go right underneath you, in which case you'll see them, or they have to walk all the way around this way. Again, you'll see them. Up here, you know, as soon as they go back here, you don't see them, right? You don't know if they're coming upstairs, you don't know if they're walking all the way around, and they can flank you from multiple different angles. So you do have to be wary of that. However, this is not a bad spot to set up. I would think there's just a better spot. I think Cafe is just better for that defensive double shield bunker comp. So as Sigma, you work really well with Orisa because you can combo your accretion with her halt. Um, for an easy stun and easy damage, easy ult charge. Um, but yeah, we'll see how you do. Yeah, this is good. This is what you want to be doing. Just spamming choke. Aim a little bit higher though. So spamming choke is completely okay. But Sigma's orbs, you have to remember, they do area of effect, so you want to aim a little bit higher. The idea being you want to try and shoot over shields, so you damage the people behind the shield, right? Especially in lower ranks, people feel nice and safe behind shields. And so as Sigma, you have the ability to shoot over top and damage the people behind it, in which case you put pressure on them, and they are forced to waste resources into either controlling you, healing up, or just pushing in faster, right? So unless your entire team is focusing down shields, try to aim over top shields. Here, you can't really do that because that's out of your range, but so spamming the shield is fine. But when you have the opportunity to, definitely try and shoot on top of the shields. It puts more pressure on the enemy team, and it damages the shield too, right? So you get full damage on the shield, and it damages the people behind, and it applies all kinds of pressure to them and forces them to either just stand there and die or make a play. So you can use accretion to absorb halt. That is a good use of accretion to stop halt. Orisa's halt is just such a powerful ability. Um, we also see that Sigma's going left here. Um, I think I saw him kind of peel this way. If you're paying attention, you might have seen that too. If you see him peek out of here, throw your orbs in there. Your orbs bounce and they can do damage to him. He's kind of in a small room. You're basically Junkrat, right? So you can spam damage into small rooms like this and get a lot of value. And plus, you force this Sigma to not poke through there because you know he's there. Um, Other thing too is here you've got Orisa shield up. Drop your shield and let it recharge. As I said, you kind of want to try and cycle your shields. So while Orisa has her shield up, you don't really need your shield up unless you are protecting some kind of flank from a flanker that's pressuring your sides. That's good, recall it. Nice, and you're spamming the room, you see them go through there. I like it. You didn't need to drop down there. High ground in Overwatch is so powerful. So when you have the opportunity to, claim that high ground, take that high ground. It is just a strong space to control because it gives you better sightlines for the enemy, um, and it makes the enemy harder to pressure you. Right? They have to, like I explained earlier, take longer flanks to try and get around to you, or they need to run dive heroes to try and force you off high ground. Right? They have to do work to get to you. Um, and it allows you to just rain hell down from above. It's harder for them to hit you, and it's easier for you to hit them. So right there, you did not need to drop down off high ground. Yes, they are pushing into point, but they're not there yet. And even if they are on point, you can let Orisa drop down. She's the main tank. She has more survivability than you do. Um, so you can just stand up here and spam damage in there, right? And they can't see you, right? You can spam damage on them, and they can't even hit you. They can't burn down your shield. They can't do shit, right? They are trapped in this room while Junkrat and you just spam damage into them. It is a kill zone for them. Stay on high ground. It's always, always, always take the high ground. Unlucky on the rock. Okay, so I see what you did with your rock there. You tried to get a lucky stone on somebody, but Orisa just happened to fortify through it. That's unlucky. Your kinetic grasp there, kind of questionable. So my general rule of thumb with kinetic grasp is it is your get out of jail free card. So when you start getting low on health, that's when you kind of use kinetic grasp. When you have people focusing you, you absorb all that damage and you gain a bunch of shields. If Sigma didn't rock you, it might have been okay. It was just unlucky that he did hit you with a rock. I like that you dropped your shield first before using kinetic grasp, so you actually got value out of it. But again, you shouldn't have to do that, right? You should be on high ground, so they couldn't actually hit you. They can't actually pressure you. So right now you're kind of on point alone. Junkrat's going to do some serious damage here. He should be able to build his ult very quickly. In fact, you should as well. They're all grouped up very nicely. Orisa's halted them, or Junkrat's booped them. You're shooting into a big clump of them. That's good. I guess Moira is with you, but again, you guys should all be on high ground. You should all be with your Orisa. Because again, they can't hit you. They can't do anything. Orisa's going to try and pull you guys off, it looks like, but it's flanking around. So, of course. I haven't actually seen their Doomfist. Their Doomfist hasn't done anything this game yet. But in any case, like I said, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't have had to use Kinetic Grasp. You shouldn't have had to use your Accretion like that. You should be on high ground, spamming damage onto the enemy. Right, like I said, Sigma is the tank version of Junkrat, where you just want to throw spam and chokes in small rooms. Just like that. Shoot around or over the shield. Don't try to break the shield. Or just walk through it. That works too. Focus at Moira. You are playing way too aggressive now. Okay. So, chasing down kills is a good thing in certain situations. This is not one of those situations. So, I understand that you want to try and secure these kills, which is fine. And at higher ranks, you are going to see this happen. But in Silver, definitely not. In higher ranks, what's going to happen is you're going to have the entire team pushing forward to secure these last 3 kills. Right now, it's just you. And they're running double shields, so they put both shields between you and your team, so there's absolutely no way for any kind of healing to get to you, because healing cannot go through shields. So you are alone, behind enemy lines, and you have a tank that has no mobility. You do have Kinetic Grasp, which can save you, but Moira's doesn't care about your Kinetic Grasp, so you got too greedy here, trying to chase down a kill with no team support. Again, I think this all stems because you dropped off high ground, right? If you had been on high ground, wouldn't have been in this position. You wouldn't have felt the need to push through shields and chase down kills. Again, Sigma is a spam hero, so even if here, like, you could just sit here and spam and hit that Orisa, right? which is fine. Sure, you're probably not going to secure the kills, but you're going to build your ult, you're going to be safe, and the most important thing is you're going to be alive. The biggest thing that people need to be aware of to climb out of the lower ranks, that is bronze, silver, gold, is that they need to stop dying. And I know that sounds very obvious, but it's plays like this, where you take a very, very high risk for low reward play, right? Because now you're taking the high risk in hopes to secure the kill on their Sigma, but you're putting yourself in an absolutely horrible position to do so. And because of that, you're going to die, you're going to feed enemy ult charge, and you're not going to secure kills. So nothing good is going to come of this. Remember to the biggest thing that you need to focus on, I think, as a player, no matter what hero you're playing, is playing a little more passively in the lower ranks and learning how to stay alive. And then once you learn how to stay alive, that's when you can start to do more aggressive plays and try to make things happen. But this is way too aggressive without the support of your team. And your Orissa's down too. I don't know how your Orisa died, but so now your team's going to be down both their tanks, and that's just a lost fight. Actually, they can't point here, assuming they push in on the fact that you have no tanks. Because now the entire enemy team is back, they've got a full 6. If the enemy team doesn't take point here, I will be amazed. Oh no, Iris back, okay. It's alright. Maybe you'll be okay. Start spamming. Focus the Sigma there. Nice, nice, good rock combo. Good accretion, or kinetic grasp. All your shields. Don't ult. Okay. So that's kind of a... You guys might actually win this. Good job, Junkrat. So this is kind of one of those things where it's a little hard. So when you come through here, you see your healers being pressured by the Sigma, and you went to go, it looks like you were trying to go for the Ana. Now, normally I would be okay with that, going for the Ana, but because their Sigma was pressuring your healers, you need to help your supports, right? Sigma is considered an off-tank, and off-tanks, one of their jobs is to peel for your supports. So when you see your supports being pressured by their Sigma, you need to pressure him immediately, which you did, and that was good. That was the right decision. You landed a good accretion combo on him. One thing is that when you get in close to an enemy as Sigma, you can fire off both your orbs and throw in a melee, and it will not affect your fire rate. And so it's just more damage. It's an extra 30 damage per shot, essentially. So when you get in close like that, just launch your 2 orbs and then throw in a quick melee afterwards. Again, it'll help burn down targets faster when you're in close like that. Then you kind of played Ring Around the Rosie on the cart, which is fine. I would have rather you kind of picked a spot and stayed there, but that's it's kind of tough, because the fight's so spread out, so chaotic, and you're just stalling for time at this point. But when you do put your shield down like that, dance around it, right? Shield dancing is a tactic that all tanks need to know, or all tanks with deployable shields need to know, which basically means when you put your shield down like this, just you move in and out of it, right? Because your shots go through your shield, the enemy team's shots don't. So when you back up through your shield like this on one side than the other, it's harder for the team to hit you because they're either shooting on one side of the shield or the other. And I mean, it wouldn't have mattered there because this fight is basically lost for your team. But it would have helped you stay alive maybe a second or two longer. And in other situations, it will help you keep you alive through these long, drawn-out fights. But it looks like your team is stabilizing.
That music, it's playing again.
So in Hollywood, always go out the left side. It's just faster. The enemy team didn't take that. I am amazed. We're down both tanks and they didn't push in. That's... yeah. Go for high ground. Yes, I like it. Get your team to come with you. So this is okay. Even though your main tank's not with you, this is okay. As Sigma, you are an off tank. And one of the things that you can do as Sigma is look for these off angles, right? So your Orisa's standing in a terrible spot in the choke, for one thing. But the point is, she's got the main attention of the team. And so by you and Soldier being up here, you are a threat from a different angle, right? So now they have to deal with you and Soldier and Orisa spamming damage from multiple angles and multiple sides. This is good, right? I like that you are up here with your Soldier. You know, you're using your shield to protect yourself and your Soldier, so you guys can apply pressure from relative safety. One thing you need to do as tank though is communicate your shield health, especially when you're up here with Soldier or something like that. Just say my shield's half, my shield's low, go find some cover. It just gives your Soldier time to play around pillar, find some cover, kind of protect himself when your shield does go down. But I like this. This is good. I am interested to see how you use your ultimate. Good try on the rock. Charging shield, that's fine. Focus down the supercharger. Nice, good. Spam through the door, yep. Recharge your shield now, you're not blocking anything, let it recharge. Nice. Good try with the accretion. Good kill. Silver? Questionable use of kinetic grasp there, but your rock is a good thing to use on flanking tanks like Monkey or Hammond. A stunned flank tank like that is a dead flank tank. Yeah. So I wouldn't have used ult there. Time is getting low here, so you know the enemy team is pushing in. So just hold off on it for a few seconds. I think it's good that you use your ult in this fight. You definitely want to. You don't want to hang onto your ult for longer than one team fight. Usually, 2 team fights is kind of pushing it, depending on the situation. But you did ult there, and your ult is very powerful because it does exactly 50% of their health upon slamming down, right? So you can kill a squishy with that. So what I would have been doing instead... So let's go back. See. Got ult here. Monkey jumps in. So you've got Moira and Ashe over here. You have to be careful with Moira because she can fade out of it, but Ashe cannot. Right? So that would be my target, is going for those squishies, right? Because you can probably secure the kill on these. Right, so they got a Lucio there too. You probably can't hit both the Ashe and the Lucio, but I would have picked up the Ashe. Right, it's if you're going to solo slam somebody, pick a squishy, somebody that you can secure the kill on, right? Because you pick up the Ashe, you lift her up in the air, she's standing still, you can hit 2 of your orbs, you slam her down, 2 more orbs, and she's dead. Or rather, if you pick her up 2 orbs and slam her down, I think that should kill her anyway, but securing the kill on the Ashe would have been a better use of your Surge. And then, yeah, you ended up dying because you went right into the Bob. I think that was a lost fight anyway, like even if you did ult, they had enough people there that, although your Junkrat comes through with another huge tire.
No, that wasn't right at all.
Yeah, the enemy team was just pushing in. You could have held on just a little bit longer on your ult, but at least you used it. At least you didn't hold on to it. I would have been okay with you taking the elevator up. Again, high ground is very strong in this game, so always take it whenever you have the ability to. Mercy shouldn't be shooting there, should be damage boosting you. Just recharge your shield. Back up, don't take this poke game. So, you guys have a numbers disadvantage here. So don't take this fight, just back up, regroup with your team, right? Because you guys are now effectively fighting a 2v6 here. I guess 4v6 because your Orisa are up here, but you know, your Orisa went up top, which is a bit of an aggressive play with your Orisa. That's okay, I guess, but you know, if any one of the tanks should be main, it should be the main tank. Right, so your Orisa should be down here, and you should be up here as the off tank. You guys kind of have this back asswards. Shield has low health. You don't have the survivability that Orisa does, because Orisa has shield and fortify. But either way, you need to be backing up. Either your whole team needs to be playing this corner with you, or you need to be retreating. Your Orisa probably shouldn't be on high ground here. Your Orisa needs to be... This is one of the few instances where you kind of need to be holding low ground. So if your Orisa is holding up here, the entire team needs to be up here, right? You guys have to play aggressively. You have to play like right on this edge here in order to get spam damage down there. And honestly, it's okay. Like, the only person they have to contest you would be Monkey, and he's not going to, in his right mind, jump 6 enemy teammates, especially when you have a Reaper. So if you guys were all holding up here, it would actually be okay, I think. So you just need to play a bit more coordinated as a team. But good shields block the accretion. Good spam. Again, you need to be backing up. Like, you're taking a lot of damage here. Your Rissa's back. Good shield. You guys are pushing them back now. You can let your shield recharge. Good shield to block the dynamite. You probably could have done that a little earlier and maybe stunned him out of the ult. It's a hard shot to make, but it's something you can do now. Okay, they have beat. You guys definitely need to be backing out of this fight. When they beat like that, they have just so much health. Just back up a little bit and let beat wear off. You know, back up, spam damage. Huge. Shoot the Lucio. Don't shoot into Sigma's accretion. I know why you did that. Like this, the Lucio was already low, so you were going to kill him on slam down anyway. So you were trying to get the Sigma lower health, which is normally fine. But when he uses kinetic grasp like that, don't shoot into that because you're just building his shield charge, and you'll make it harder to kill when you slam him down. That was a good ult there. You can go start looking for an off angle, a Sigma. Good try on the accretion. Stun Bob with your accretion. Unlucky. Orisa pulled him all out of the way. It was good kinetic grasp though, absorbing the Bob shots. It's good, good shield charge. You didn't need to take that damage, right? You could have just hidden behind shield, hidden behind cover, and not taken that damage. Again, she pulled him out of your accretion. So that's what I said, like, you know, comboing your accretion and halts. Good combo. Alright, that was a pretty good round, actually. You managed your shield pretty well. I was impressed with that. You were taking high ground when you could. There was little positioning things, you know, like I said, you jumped off high ground when you shouldn't need to. On Streets phase here, you kind of stood in main, taking a lot of damage when you didn't need to be. Again, Sigma as an off tank, you should be looking for an off angle, right? Trying to apply pressure from a different side, shooting over or around shields, that kind of thing. So there are times when you're playing like a defensive bunker with a Bastion or something like that, when playing with your main tank is fine. But, you know, you're on Streets and you're defending, if your main tank is down like here by this cart, you should be over here. It's spamming damage into the enemy team. If they turn to look at you, you can easily retreat back to your team, but you create another threat, right? And they then have to turn to deal with you. They have to put resources into dealing with you. You have your shield to protect yourself. You've got accretion, kinetic grasp. Like, you have all kinds of defensive abilities to keep you alive, and you apply pressure from a different angle. And yeah. Other than that, like, it was pretty good. There's not a whole lot that I'm noticing. Again, I don't think you're a Silver Sigma from what I've seen so far.
3, 2, 1. Attack commencing.
You can use Kinetic Grasp to absorb those orbs. That's an okay use of Kinetic Grasp. You don't get a lot of shields from it, but the bigger thing is that you prevent the enemy Moira from building her ultimate. You know, Moira builds her ultimate so fast, so the longer you can delay it, the better. So absorbing that that orb denies her about 11% ult charge. So
Take a deep breath.
Again, it looks like you guys didn't take a lot of damage from it, but I would have been okay with you using it that way. That's a good use of Kinetic Grasp. Being shot by a turret. You're ignoring the turret. Just back out of that room. What's that turret? Yeah, so you sat there and just let this turret beam into you. You know, you can see your little hit markers here showing you that there's something hitting you from behind. You can hear the turret, you can feel the slowing effect. You know there's a turret shooting you. Just back out of that room. You can actually hit the turret with your orbs pretty easily. They've got a decently large enough hitbox. I like this play. I like that you're pushing in for an off angle, trying to apply pressure from a different side. But they know where you are. They're spamming damage into you, and you kind of just let this turret burn you down. When you see that turret in there, just back out of there, kill the turret first, and then you can go back in and be aggressive like this. So you're playing Orisa Sigma on attack with a Tracer Reaper.
Haven't we done this before?
That's kind of weird. Your Mercy's not going to get a lot of value out of this comp unless she's damage boosting you or Orisa. Your Orisa has to get aggressive with her shield placements. Tracer can go be annoying in the back line, and Reaper should really be kind of playing with the tanks. This is why it's a little bit of a weird comp, right? A Tracer is whatever. Tracer goes off and does her own thing and is annoying in the backline, but this Reaper is a bit weird. So you guys are playing kind of a poke tank line, but you're running a brawl DPS and a flank DPS. So I suppose Reaper in this position needs to kind of flank to get any value, right? So he needs to go find high ground, kind of flank behind, work with the Tracer to kill squishies. So you as a tank line to work with your DPS like this, you need to be aggressive. Right, you guys need to push in. Your Orisa needs to be aggressive with her shield placement and just walk forward, push W. This is a difficult composition to attack with. Down your main tank. I don't think you should be poking this. Spamming damage and shields, whatever. Let your shield recharge. Now you can put up your shield, yep. Good kill on the Ana. W, that's a good use of Kinetic Grasp, I think. You were getting a low health. I like this, you're on a bit of a soft flank here. Good kill. Hey, see, like a nice melee combo there. At this point, just die on cart. The longer you stay alive, the more you stagger yourself. You're gonna die here anyway. There's nothing you can do to get out. Yep. So Sigma doesn't have any mobility. He doesn't really have any escapes other than Kinetic Grasp. But you had no support. Everyone was dead. At that point, just walk forward and spam damage. The longer you stay alive there, the more you stagger yourself, and the longer your team has to wait to regroup. Nice grasp. Huge. Huge ult. You guys should be pushing W hard here. Huge supercharger first. Like it. Pumping damage into that Orisa. Good grasp. Focus the squishy. Dude, this is one of those times where, you know, okay, so I see a lot of times people complaining about gold medals. I have gold medals, my DPS aren't doing shit, yada yada yada. But right there, you spent probably a good 15-20 seconds just pumping damage into an Orisa, and you didn't secure a kill. So you probably have a lot of damage from that, but because you accomplished basically nothing with it, all that damage was wasted. All you did was build their support ult, so their Moira got ult pretty much off you pumping damage into their Orisa. So what you should have done there is it was fine when your team was focusing Orisa down, but when she used Fortify, at that point you need to start focusing other targets, because you can't kill a fortified Orisa if she has any kind of healing, unless you have literally 6 people focusing her down. But you don't. So at that point you could focus on their Ana, you could focus on their Sim, like their Moira, literally anybody else. Yeah, it's one of those times why that kind of proves why the metal system is bad. Again, you probably have a lot of damage after that because you pumped so much damage into the Orisa, but you accomplished absolutely nothing with that. All that damage could have been used to kill a couple of squishy characters, in which case you just won the fight. But because you just spammed into the Orisa, you didn't kill her, you built the enemy support ults. Sure, you're building your ult pretty quickly, but Sigma's ult charges really slowly. You allowed their Moira to build out, so now they have a couple of ults, and they're in a position to win this fight. Whereas, if you had focused that damage on one of their squishy characters, you would have won the fight for your team.
The results are reproducible.
60 seconds.
So,
That music
a little bit of target focusing there.
playing again.
Moira needs to not do that. Brett needs to die and back out. So yeah, your Moira just back out of this. Actually, it's 2v2. Okay, stand corrected. Maybe. Okay, now you guys need to. This Ana needs to die. She's in a bad position. Focus Squishy. Focus that Ana. Kill her. Nice. Kill. Huge Sigma ult. Call your shield, let it recharge. Right, when it's not blocking anything, just have it recalled.
Get behind the barrier. 10 seconds.
There you go.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload. Progress.
How long is this gonna take?
Good try on the rock. Almost. Some turrets, it's good. Got supercharger. Moira's feeding. Good. Nicely done. That was all really good. Decent positioning, good target focus, good target selection. Good use of your abilities. You're pushing forward here, taking space, this is good. Back away from the Moira ult or stun it if you can. You can stun Moira out of her ult with your accretion, so I would have tried to hit the Moira there. Yeah, they're just coming in and pressing Q. Bad res by your Mercy. So at this point, all you're doing is feeding and delaying the regroup longer. Yeah. Nothing you could do about that, but that was a bad res by your Mercy because all you did was die and feed more ult charge to the enemy team. And you just delayed your regroup another 7 seconds or so.
It's playing again.
Payload has stormed.
So here, you could be looking for a soft flank. So, you've got about 30 seconds left. If you wanted to be really, really aggressive, you could try to honestly flank back here. Help your Tracer out a little bit. That is a very, very aggressive flank, and you have to time it perfectly with the rest of your team. But if your team's pushing up main with your Orisa, and you're back here, you are a massive threat. Like, you are shooting right into their backline. You can get a couple of key picks. You've got a little bit of cover here. You have a mega health pack to help you stay alive. You're in a position where Moira can just throw a healing orb to you if you get into trouble. It's an aggressive flank, but it's one of those times where as an off tank, especially Sigma, you want to kind of look for these off angles, and this is a pretty much a hard flank, really. But it's one of those plays that is very, very aggressive. But really, when your team's pushing in like this and they're all focused on their main shield, and they don't turn to look at you, they don't turn to deal with you, you could kill their entire team, right? You put up your shield, you can block sleep dart, you can block nade, um, and really that's the only thing they have to deal with you, right? And they either deal with the bulk of your team or turn to deal with you. If they, look to deal with your team, you just spam damage into their backline and kill everyone. If they turn to deal with you, even one or two people, your team has the opportunity to push in because that's one or two people that's not looking at the bulk of your team. Right, so as Sigma, as the off tank, you want to look for these off angles. The other thing you can do too is push kind of this way. This is a bit of a softer flank, but at least you're taking an off angle and you're able to shoot around the shield. Or you could go in through building here as well and kind of shoot in the backline like this and just back to your team if you need. But look for these opportunities to flank. Look for these opportunities to take these off angles. Right, and apply pressure from somewhere else. Good try comboing with the accretion or with the halt there. It's just a huge ult by the McCree. Unlucky. Just die as quickly as you can. Right, you guys have one last contest. You have Sig ult. You've got Tracer, you've got Lucio. You guys can touch and stall.
Why are we stopped? Music. Get the lead out and move this payload.
Speed us through, Lucio.
10 seconds remaining.
Pick up the pace. We can do this.
Tap it up, yeah. Ult right now. Yes. It's okay. It's unlucky that all you caught was the Orisa. Good kill on the Symmetra. All right. Overall, you do not play like a Silver Sigma. I think you keep at it like what you're doing, and you're probably going to climb into gold. Generally, your positioning is okay. You're generally playing with your main tank, which is fine on defense, but on as Sigma, again, you want to be looking for these off angles. Remember to, when you can, always play around cover, always play around corners. Don't be overly aggressive. Don't try and chase down kills like you did on that first defense point there. But definitely look for those opportunities to take off angles and soft flanks like that, or even hard flanks when you're kind of getting to that little bit of a desperate, I need to make a play situations. Focus on trying to shoot over or around shields when you can, unless you call out for your entire team. When you Junkrat, Orisa, Soldier, just say focus down shields, and between the four of you guys, you have so much damage their shields will just melt. If you're not focusing shields like that, if you don't call it out, just shoot around them. Apply pressure to their backline. Your ult usage was pretty good, actually. Used them at the right times, at least. Target selection, not necessarily the best, but you had a couple of huge ults there that kind of won team fights. Your accretion aim could use a little bit of work, but that's one of those things that just comes with playtime or a little bit of practice. Yeah, that was pretty good. I think just, as I said, look for those opportunities to flank, take soft flanks, or look for off angles, and play around cover or corners as much as you can. And yeah, I definitely think you will climb. Good job.